So, so we would prefer no rain, but many, many years ago, a brickmaker apparently made a pact with the devil, and it rains every time we burn bricks.
Ah.
We can't think of any other explanation.
Yeah. Doesn't matter what kind of clay you use?
Around here, we only have access to the one type, which is just alluvial clay pushed down towards the Chesapeake. And we find that in Tidewater, Virginia, so the eastern third of Virginia, all the clay is good enough to use wherever you are. So we never actually have to worry about rejecting clay around here. Maybe there are other places that are not as lucky as Virginia. But for us, we are fairly certain that if we come to your property, you've got good clay for making bricks.
Are these bricks going to be used for anything in particular?
Yeah, these are going to be used for up the market house. So, so a lot of them for paving, some probably for the foundation of the market house itself. So that's going to be a couple thousand bricks there. But the big project is all that paving that's being done.
You guys started this yesterday. You'll finish Sunday.
Probably sometime overnight on Sunday, Sunday into Monday.
Then you just leave it alone for a while.
Yeah. At that point, the brickyard closes seasonally because in the wintertime there isn't a whole lot that a brickmaker would be doing in any event, and also there's not a lot of sea being done in the brickyard, so you can never guarantee when we'll be open in the wintertime. But we'll probably work on other projects. Maybe if we've got the time and the inclination, we'll start to pull this down.
So we can't watch you pull it down, though.
We can never guarantee when we'll be here to pull it down. Yeah. We don't have any dedicated days for it.
Now, are these bricks the same as the modern brick, or?
A modern factory brick, no. Modern factory brick is going to be made, obviously modern and in the factory, but also out of usually shale, and probably have holes punched through it. Requires a little less material to make the bricks, and they tend not to be load bearing. These bricks are load bearing; they're holding up the weight of your building.
But are the dimensions roughly the same, or?
Not really, no. A brickmaker. What's that?
Our dimensions aren't the same.
That's true. Yeah, a modern brickmaker. You know, there's more of an industry standard for bricks these days, but 18th century brick, any size you like, as a brickmaker. So, if, you know, you're making bricks that are really large, you're no worse off than a guy who's making smaller bricks.
So the masons they work with whatever you give them.
Right. Yeah. So a skilled bricklayer here in Virginia knows that he's going to have bricks that are kind of all over the map, from job site to job site. Now, on any given job, you've got the same brickmaker making the bricks, and you know the bricks are all going to be the same size that he starts making for you. The bricks that we are making here are, for us, a size that we're used to, what we call a Webster brick. We named him after a historian here at Colonial Williamsburg. He wasn't nearly as honored by it as we thought he would be.
Yeah, that's so cool.
But too bad. We're going to keep calling them after him, now just out of spite.
Yeah.
It started out as a nice gesture and turned ugly, as many things in the brickyard will do.
Gestures will happen.
We try to be nice to him, but he just won't take it. But what he did is, maybe a couple of years ago, 2008, 2009, he went around and measured all the bricks here in town, all the original 18th century brick that he could find in town. Or more likely, he had an intern doing it. And then he sort of did the average. And so that's what we're burning. So that's what a Webster brick is. It's the more or less average brick of 18th century Virginia.
Wow, imagine all places, there's a lot.
Yeah, I would imagine, yeah. We know of 88 original buildings, but I'm not sure if he went out of Williamsburg as well, because, I mean, if you take just a 70-mile radius around Williamsburg, you've got tons more 18th century buildings out there. And you had a question there, Sonny?
How do you make the bricks?
Making bricks is relatively easy stuff. You dig up clay out of the ground, you get it nice and wet, and then you pack it into a mold, which is kind of a box or a form. There's a couple of them on the bench over there, and you dry the bricks out in the sun. Thank you, madam. And then you take all those sun-dried bricks you've made, you stack them up, and you light a fire underneath the stack. So that's what we're doing right now, is we're cooking all the bricks we made.
Now I heard some of the bricks are glazed.
Yeah, the ones that are at the very bottom here, the ones that are making up the tunnels where the fires are, they'll get all the junk that's burning out of the wood, the potash. That's going to stick to the bricks, and that's going to give them a glaze.
Oh, okay.
So
it's
we're
not
not
something
glazing bricks, but we do get glazed brick.
Ah, that was my next question.
Yeah, so it's
And why
more
do you have
serendipity.
that stick there?
Well, this is my my stick that I use to kind of poke the fires. When they start to go out, you kind of poke the coals a little bit, and kind of brings the heat back up. Some of these fires, they like to die out every now and again. I gotta poke some of this junk. Wake up, fire. Also, if we get wolves in the brickyard, I can fight them. You gotta be ready for anything.
So was brick making mostly something for the summers?
The brick making itself, yes. Any given time of the year, a brickmaker kind of knows what he'll be doing. So this time of year, traditionally you're going to be burning. You might be digging up clay and chopping firewood in the the dead of winter, January and February. But from April or May until September, you know you're going to be making bricks. So you need the nice hot sunny weather, relatively dry stuff to sun dry as many bricks as you can.
Can you change the color of the brick?
Well, the brick color does change. The clay around here tends to be kind of yellow.
Yeah.
And when you bake the brick, the iron that's in the clay is going to oxidize, and that will give us a red brick, kind of like rust. But the hotter you get a brick, the darker it becomes.
Ah.
So every time you burn bricks, you might start out with a big stack of yellow bricks, but you get a brown brick, a red brick, and an orange brick.
Right.
Every time you burn.
How about, do you put the bricks underground to the fire?
No, actually we don't need to. They're all above ground right now. But if you get a brick nice and hot, then you can build with it underground, and it won't soak up water and it won't fall apart. So if you want to build with a brick underground, it's got to be a really, really hot brick that you get from the very bottom of your stack.
Thank you.
Those are all bricks. Oh, sure, you're very welcome.
So much. So interesting.
Those are all bricks we have made and haven't sent to a project. People don't look at them.
Now, do you sell these bricks, or are they all?
We tend not to. No, they'll be used here
Okay.
for restoration projects. We've got way too much work here in Colonial Williamsburg.
We've been here a lot.
You have? Have you ever seen us burn the bricks before?
Yeah.
Oh,
When's the next burning, by the way?
probably sometime next year.
Next summer or something?
Right, yeah. If we do one in the summertime, it'll probably be sometime maybe in July. Guaranteed, though, there's one in November. That's usually the very end of our season.
It's in November now.
It is, yes. So November is the right time for burning bricks. And we tend to do it the week before Thanksgiving, because that's when we get a lot of people visiting Colonial Williamsburg.
Do you put the bricks on that fire too?
No, that fire doesn't get hot enough. That fire is just so that we can see each other. See any animals that sneak into the brickyard and stuff like that, and so that we don't trip over things.
I understand occasionally you get some animal prints in your wet brick.
We do, yeah. We get mostly raccoons and cats walking across the sand beds over here when we're drying the bricks, in the summertime, and they will sometimes put their footprints in the bricks. But if you look at bricks, from sites like Jamestown, sometimes they find pig footprints in bricks. So apparently Jamestown had a pig problem.
Ah.
Piggy was running around stepping in
What
bricks.
happened if you lost the footprints?
Well, you know what happens? These people, they find a footprint in their brick. Back then, they'd fire them, cook them, build with them anyway.
How about you follow the trail and you see a cave and a bear sees, then you see a bear, then you kill it.
I would hope so. Yeah, we don't need any bears in the brickyard. We've got enough problems. One time we had a raccoon during the day. That's always a problem.
Raccoons sleep in the day.
That's what we think.
No, they don't. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and if you see them during the daytime, it usually means they're sick. So we.
What's gonna happen like a cat's a raccoon and it's sick in the day?
Well, then usually that means it might have rabies. So the city comes and takes care of them.
Oh, did you see skunk before?
I've seen one skunk here in Williamsburg. It was a while ago.
Did it stink?
No, it really didn't. We didn't scare it, so it didn't shoot us with its stink
Did it wake
power.
Up? Did it wake up in the night?
No, it was sneaking around. It was early in the morning.
Is this a pretty typical range of questions, or is this?
No, this is kind of fun. This is new and exciting territory for me.
Do you have to sometimes clear out the ash?
No, the ash never really gets all that clogged up in there. It just keeps burning, burning, burning. So we get maybe about that much ash over the course of 5 days in there. Yeah, it's
All
never
that
too
cord.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's definitely in there, but it's not too much of it. It just keeps burning over and over again.
About